Welcome to a deep dive, into the world of Thelema. It's one of those paths that's kind of shrouded in mystery, and today we're going to kind of try to unpack some of its key ideas and, see what we can learn from them. Now, you might have heard that famous Thelemic phrase, do what thou wilt, but is it really just a free pass to do whatever you feel like?
Not quite. That phrase is actually part of a larger concept, aligning your actions with your true will. And figuring that out, well, that can be a journey in itself. It's not about fleeting whims, but something much deeper.
So it's more about intentionality than just impulsiveness. Is there a way to really grasp what true will means in like a practical sense?
Think about it this way. Imagine saying a little affirmation before each meal. I'm eating because I want to nourish my body so that I can do my true will and be part of the great work. It's about recognizing the connection between even simple actions and a larger purpose.
Wow, that's a really interesting practice. It kind of reframes eating as fuel for something bigger than just satisfying hunger. But what exactly is this great work they're talking about?
The great work is a concept you find across various mystical traditions. It's about actively pursuing your full potential, not just for personal fulfillment, but also to contribute to the evolution of consciousness itself. In Thelema, aligning your actions with your true will is seen as a key part of that.
So it's about personal growth, but also about something that ripples outward, impacting the world around you. That's pretty profound.
It is, and here's where it gets even more interesting. Thelema emphasizes connecting with something called the Holy Guardian Angel, or HGA for short. Now, this isn't your typical guardian angel watching over you.
Yeah, from what I've read, it seems much more complex than that.
Exactly. The HGA is more like a direct connection to higher realms, a gateway to understanding what lies beyond everyday reality. Some Theemites even see it as an aspect of yourself, like a higher or perfected version of you waiting to be discovered.
That makes me think about all the untapped potential we have within. It's almost like this HGA is a key to unlocking that potential. But how do you actually connect with this HGA?
That's where magic comes in, and I'm spelling that with a K here, just as Alister Crowley insisted on. It's not about stage illusions, but about understanding and working with the forces of the universe, both within and around us, to bring about real change.
And I've noticed Thelema draws a lot from Kabbalah. What's the connection there?
Kabbalah is a system of Jewish mysticism that has had a profound impact on Western occultism. In Thelema, you'll find Kabbalistic concepts like the Tree of Life. Think of it like a map of consciousness showing different realms or levels of being.
It's not just a random collection of symbols, but a whole system for understanding the structure of reality.
Precisely. And navigating this map of consciousness is a key part of the Thelemic journey. Speaking of journeys, there's this intense concept in Thelema called crossing the abyss. Have you come across that in your reading?
Yes, it sounds pretty daunting, almost like a life or death kind of thing.
You could say that. Imagine a caterpillar undergoing metamorphosis. It's a radical transformation, shedding the old self to emerge as something completely new. That's a powerful analogy for what Themites mean by crossing the abyss. It's a symbolic death and rebirth, shedding the ego to reach a higher state of being.
It sounds like a process that requires a lot of preparation and self-awareness. Is it something people actively aim for in Thelema?
It is, but it's not something to be taken lightly. The sources emphasize that it's often attempted later in life after significant inner work in connection with the HGA. It's seen as a major milestone on the path.
So we've got this big picture concept of crossing the abyss, but what about the day-to-day in Thelema? What kinds of practices do people actually engage in?
Well, the sources highlight a few key things. Tarot is one, and we're talking specifically about the Thoth deck, which incorporates elements of the I Ching, the ancient Chinese book of divination.
So it's not just your typical fortune-telling tarot.
Not at all. In Thelema, tarot is used as a tool for introspection, self-discovery, and understanding the interplay of energies in the universe. It's about asking profound questions and using the cards as a mirror to reflect on your current state challenges and potential.
That's a much deeper approach than I had imagined.
It is. And then there are the ceremonial magic rituals, like the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, which are designed to create sacred space, focus, and tension, and connect with specific energies or entities.
It seems like Thelema borrows and adapts elements from a lot of different traditions.
It does. I'm noticing like a real theme of syncretism here. It seems like Thelema is open to incorporating all sorts of diverse elements from various traditions.
That's right. You see, Thelema emerged in the early 1900s, so it had the chance to draw from a wide range of older systems, including Eastern practices like Tantra, Pranayama Yoga, and of course, meditation.
Ah, yes, meditation. Seems to be a pretty core practice in Thelema, wouldn't you say? Absolutely. It's essential for cultivating self-control, quieting the mind, and doing the inner work that forms the foundation for any occult practice. Think of it like this. If you're trying to connect with your true will and navigate these complex realms, a calm and focused mind is essential. Wouldn't you agree?
It makes perfect sense. It's like trying to listen to a whisper in a hurricane.
Yeah,
You need that stillness to really hear what's going on.
exactly. And speaking of Thelema's diverse influences, we should touch upon the pantheon of deities it incorporates.
Right, because it's not just about abstract concepts and practices. There's a whole rich world of symbolism and mythology at play here.
Absolutely. What's fascinating is that you'll find deities from Sumerian, Egyptian, and even Abrahamic traditions. You might encounter figures like Nuit-Hadid and Rahu-Quit.
Wow, that's a pretty eclectic mix. It seems like there's a lot of room for individual interpretation and personalization within Thelema, given the range of influences it draws from.
That's a key takeaway. Thelema doesn't prescribe a one-size-fits-all approach to spirituality. It encourages individuals to find their own path and connect with the deities or forces that resonate most deeply with them.
It's like a toolbox of spiritual practices and ideas, and you get to choose the ones that work best for you. This makes me think back to our learner persona. They love independent thought and exploring different perspectives, so I bet this aspect of Thelema would really appeal to them.
I agree. Thelema provides a framework for self-discovery, but it leaves plenty of space for personal exploration and interpretation. And that brings us to another important point. Thelema isn't a static system stuck in the past. It's a living, evolving path.
Right. The sources emphasize that while figures like Alister Crowley are historically significant, focusing solely on them can limit our understanding of Thelema today. It's not just about the past, it's about how those ideas are being interpreted and applied in the present.
Exactly. There's a whole world of contemporary Thelemic thought to explore. Authors like Kenneth Grant and Austin Osman Spare offer fascinating perspectives that can enrich our understanding of Thelema today.
It's exciting to think that Thelema continues to grow and adapt to the modern world. The sources even mention modern Thelemic groups that incorporate elements of chaos magic or witchcraft, which seems to reflect that evolution.
You're right, that dynamism is a core part of what makes Thelema so compelling. It's not a rigid dogma, but a fluid system open to incorporating new ideas and practices.
I think our listener, the learner, would really appreciate that openness to exploration and evolution. So as we start to wrap up this deep dive into Thelema, what would you say are the key takeaways for someone just beginning to learn about it? What are the most important things for them to understand?
Well, first and foremost, it's crucial to grasp that Thelema is about aligning your actions with your true will, and that this true will is all about discovering your unique path to fulfillment and contributing to the great work.
So it's not about selfish indulgence or doing whatever you want in the moment, but about making choices that align with a deeper sense of purpose. And finding that purpose is a journey in itself, isn't it?
Exactly. It's not something you just figure out overnight. It takes introspection, experimentation, and a willingness to listen to that inner voice. The second key takeaway is that Thelema emphasizes connecting with the Holy Guardian Angel as a guide and a gateway to higher realms.
Right. It's about cultivating that relationship with a higher aspect of yourself or a force that connects you to something beyond the everyday.
Precisely. And lastly, it's essential to remember that Thelema is a syncretic and evolving path, drawing inspiration from various traditions and always open to incorporating new ideas and practices.
It's not a closed system with all the answers, but a living, breathing tradition that encourages individual expression and exploration.
I love that. It's like Thelema provides the map and the compass, but you get to choose, the direction and the destination. That's pretty empowering. Out of all of this, what really resonated with you? What sparked your curiosity the most? Honestly, what gets me is this emphasis on individual will. It's not about blindly following a set of rules, but about uncovering your own unique path to fulfillment and contributing to the great work in your own way.
I totally get that. It reminds us that we each have something special to offer the world, and Thelema provides a framework for tapping into that potential. For me, I have to say the concept of the Holy Guardian Angel is incredibly intriguing. It's like having this personal guide as you navigate these higher realms and uncover your true will.
It definitely adds a layer of depth and mystery to the journey.
Yeah.
And that's a great point you brought up. Uncovering one's true will. That's something that goes beyond any specific spiritual system, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it's a universal human question. Even if someone isn't drawn to Thelema as a whole, I think there's a lot of value in that core idea of aligning your actions with your purpose, whatever that purpose may be.
It raises an important question for all of us listening. What would your life look like if you were truly living in alignment with your deepest desires and aspirations?
That's a question worth pondering. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and lose sight of that bigger picture. So for our listener out there, if they're intrigued by all this and want to explore further, what would you suggest as like a next step?
Well, the sources recommend starting with meditation as a foundation for any occult practice. It's
Oh,
about finding that stillness
yeah.
within that quiet space where you can connect with your inner voice. There are tons of resources available from guided meditations to different techniques. It's really about finding what resonates with you.
And for those who are curious about the people and ideas that have shaped Thelema, diving into the works of figures like Kenneth Grant or Austin Osman Spare could be a great starting point.
Absolutely. And remember, Thelema is an ever-evolving path. There's always something new to discover, new interpretations to explore.
Here's a final thought to leave you with. Imagine taking this core principle of Thelema, aligning your actions with your true will, and applying it to your life right now, regardless of your personal beliefs. What choices would you make differently? What steps would you take to create a life that feels more aligned with your authentic self? It's something to reflect on as we conclude this deep dive into Thelema. Until next time, keep seeking, keep exploring, and as always, keep diving deep.